Hi, welcome. Today let's see the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. As it's a long poem, let's see the poem in different sections. Today let's see the first part. See the poet Stephen Spender. He was an English poet and essayist. He took a keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a pacifist and socialist. In an elementary school classroom in Islam, he has concentrated on themes of social injustice and class inequalities. Let's see the first two lines of the poem. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. I repeat the first line. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. Who are these children? The poet refers to the slum children. And what do you know about the slum children? The poet is presenting the dismal and depressing picture of deprivation. The slum children are devoid of vitality, vigor, and happiness. Far, far from the gusty waves, these children's faces. The poet is speaking about the poor, miserable, slum children. Children are far, far from gusty waves. You know, literally gust means strong wind, a sudden and strong wind. But here, gusty waves is a metaphor. It's metaphoric of the mainstream society, exuberance, vitality, happiness, anything that is positive that the slum children are deprived of. So, gusty waves is a metaphor for mainstream society, it's a metaphor for exuberance, happiness, vitality, vigor, energy, progress, and anything and everything that is positive. Now let's see the first part of the first line. Far, 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 far from gusty waves. These children, the slum children, are far, far from gusty waves. Why does the poet repeat the word far? He repeats the word far to show the slum children are extremely far away from the mainstream society. The word far is repeated to show how distant the slum children are from the mainstream society. Now let's come to the second line of the poem. Like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. The first part of the second line, like rootless weeds. The poet compares the slum children to rootless weeds. What are weeds? Weeds are unwanted plants. So the poet suggests that the slum children are also like unwanted plants. Then the poet uses the term rootless. The function of the root is to provide stay and support to the plant and also to provide nourishment. The poet compares the slum children to rootless weeds, suggesting that there is no one to support them, there is no one to provide them nourishment. Like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. Pallor means pale face. The hair torn round their pallor. Torn here means scattered. The hairs scattered round their pallor, around their pale face. So my question is, why is their hair scattered? Why is their hair torn round the pallor? Can you guess the answer? They are slum children and there is no one to look after them. So, as their hair is unkempt, as there is no one to help them to keep their hair properly, the hair is torn means scattered around their pallor. Pallor means pale face. Discuss the poetic devices used in the first two lines. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces like rootless weeds. You see the first two words, far, far. The word for is repeated. So it's very simple. The poetic device is repetition. When we take the first three words, for, from, you see the repetition of the initial consonant sound for, from. When initial consonants are repeated, it's alliteration. So in for, it's repetition, and in for, from, it's alliteration. Far, from gusty waves. As we discussed earlier, gusty waves is a metaphor for mainstream society, exuberance, vitality, energy, anything that is positive. So it's metaphor. Gusty waves, metaphor. So in the first line, we see three poetic devices: repetition in far, alliteration in far, from, and metaphor in gusty waves. When we move to the second line, it starts with like rootless weeds. The slum children are compared to rootless weeds, unwanted plants, rootless weeds. So the poet uses the word like. So it's a simile. Simile is spelled S-I-M-I-L-E, simile. I believe you are thorough with the first two lines. Far, from gusty waves, these children's faces like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their parlor. Now let's come to the third line. The tall girl with her way down head. The tall girl with her way down head. Weighed down head. What do you understand by way down head? The head that is not kept high. If you are confident, if you are daring, then you will keep your head high. But here, the girl has a way down head. So CBSE question, why is the tall girl's head way down? What could be the answer? Guess the answer. Why is the tall girl's head weighed down? Can be because of shame, can be because of embarrassment, can be because of the problems of life. She's a child from the slums, so the problems of life. Can be because of the harsh realities of the world of the slum. Can be because of malnutrition, malnourished child, so malnutrition. Can be because of poverty, or all these together. So the third line, the tall girl with her way down head. So from here you see the poet describes the children in the elementary school classroom in the slum. The first child he describes is a tall girl with her weighed down head. Let's see reference to context questions asked from this poem. Far, from gusty waves, these children's faces like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her way down head. 3 lines are given and 4 questions are asked for 4 marks. Question A, who are these children? Tell me the answer. Who are these children? The poet refers to the slum children, the poor, deprived slum children. Question B, what does the poet mean by gusty waves? We saw the answer earlier. It's a metaphor for the mainstream society. It's a metaphor for exuberance, vitality, happiness, progress, anything that is positive. What has possibly weighed down the tall girl's head? We saw the answer in the previous slide. Embarrassment, shame, problems of life, the harsh realities of life, malnourishment, poverty. Then the next question, identify the figure of speech used in these lines. Identify the figure of speech. Tell me the poetic devices you see in the first 2 lines. Yes, far. What's the poetic device? Yes, you know, it's repetition. Far, from, first letters, consonants repeated. It should be alliteration. Gusty waves, metaphor. Slum children compared to rootless weeds, like rootless weeds. The word like is used, so it is simile. On this slide, you see the CBSE marking scheme along with the question, who are these children? As per CBSE marking scheme, children of the slum, children of elementary school classroom in a slum, or poor children, or the deprived children. Question B, what does the poet mean by gusty waves? The mainstream society, better living conditions, vitality, energy, exuberance, all that the children have been deprived of, happiness, progress, any one of this. What has possibly weighed down the tall girl's head? Can be shame, embarrassment, harsh realities of life, inferiority complex, problems, depression, malnourishment, poverty. Remember, you need to give only one of this. So if you give more than one value point, also it's okay. But CBSE expects at least one value point here. And you see the next question, identify the figure of speech used in these lines. You may wonder why the word identify is given in red color. So I just want you to note that if the question is name the poetic device, you need to mention what poetic device is used there. For example, if the question was name the poetic device used in line 1 or 2, if it is line 1, you can say repetition, you can say alliteration, or you can say metaphor. In line 2, you see a simile. Identify means if the question is identify the poetic device, after giving the poetic device in brackets, you have to give the words which help you to identify that poetic device. For example, if you write repetition, in bracket you have to write far, far. If you write alliteration, in brackets you have to give far, far from. If you write metaphor, in brackets you have to write gusty waves. If you write simile, in brackets you have to write like rootless weeds. I think now you know the difference between name the poetic device and identify the poetic device. Name the poetic device means you just name the poetic device, but if the question is identify the poetic device, in brackets you have to give the words that help you to identify the poetic device. Here you see another reference to this question asked from the same lines. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head. Who are these children? You know the answer, you saw the answer already. Which figure of speech has been used in the first 2 lines? You know the answer. Why is the tall girl's head weighed down? You know the answer. What does the word pallor mean? Pallor. Do you remember? Pallor means pale face. On this slide, you see the CBSE marking scheme. First question, who are these children? The deprived children from poor sections of society, the slum children, the elementary classroom students. Second question, which figure of speech, as we discussed, simile, alliteration, metaphor, repetition, any one of this. Why is the tall girl's head weighed down? Weighed down because of poverty, responsibilities, burden of life, miserable condition, mentally and physically exhausted child. So any one of this. The last question, what does the word pallor mean? Pale face, unhealthy pale appearance, or dull or sickly. We've seen the first 3 lines of an elementary school classroom in a slum by Steven Spender. Don't forget to subscribe this video and to share it. If you subscribe only, you'll get the rest of the lessons. For any kind of guidance to learn or teach English, contact me at 974309684 or mail me at dosekalyan32@gmail.com. Wait for the next video. Bye.